Welcome to the deep dive. So forget all the really fancy business plans, right? The endless investor pitches, the crushing debt.
Yeah.
Today, we're really digging into something that feels, I think, much more accessible. How do you actually start and, build a successful business with very little money? We've been looking at a bunch of sources, especially the insights from Chris Guillebeau's book, The $100 Startup.
That's right. And our aim here really is to pull out the core ideas, those surprising stories, and, well, the practical steps that let ordinary people kind of bypass the traditional route. Build their own thing, create lives with more freedom.
And what really jumps out, I found from these examples, is that this isn't about chasing those huge billion-dollar valuations or VC funding. It's much more grounded.
Totally. It's about focusing on giving real value to people, taking action consistently, and truly understanding who you're trying to serve.
Yeah, it's learning directly from the people who've actually done it.
And that focus on value, this knack for creating something genuinely helpful for others, it's absolutely central to what some people are calling this micro-business revolution.
Okay, micro-business revolution. Let's unpack that a bit. Why is this kind of lean start, often solo, why is it so much more possible now compared to, say, 20 or 30 years back?
Well, a few things have kind of come together. On one side, that traditional career path, it just feels less secure for a lot of folks.
Right.
And on the other, technology has just made starting so much easier and cheaper. I mean, you can test an idea online almost instantly now, not wait months. You can set up PayPal or Stripe in minutes globally.
Yeah.
The barriers, they've plummeted.
So it means you can often just start with your own skills, your passion, and maybe skip the expensive business degree or those massive loans.
Exactly. And these stories show people literally learning as they go, sort of building the plane while flying it, And importantly, these aren't necessarily small dreams. It's about finding a way to make a really good living, doing something you genuinely care about, and structuring your life well on your own terms.
And you see these two themes, they just run through almost every single story. Freedom and value. People started these things because they wanted more control, didn't they?
Yeah.
Over their time, their location, their lives. Just more freedom.
Exactly. And the way they got that freedom, by creating value. Helping people solve a problem, feel better, get something done faster. At its core, value is just helping people.
And this idea of value connects directly to the money side of things, like right from the very beginning. The sources suggest asking these three pretty basic questions for any idea.
Yeah, how exactly would you get paid? How much are people actually willing to pay? And maybe the most powerful one.
Yeah.
Can you figure out a way to get paid more than once for the same thing?
That recurring revenue.
That recurring piece is huge for stability, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll definitely come back to that. But the point is, you don't need some super complex financial model right at the start. Just those three questions.
And the starting point itself can be incredibly simple. Maybe even sound a bit wild. Like Michael Traynor and his mattress business.
No, yeah, that one's great.
He started with a truckload of closeout mattresses. Knew nothing about them, no business plan, just selling them on Craigslist.
But his innovation, it wasn't a better mattress, was it? It was a better experience. He focused on making it like a chill, no-pressure zone. Totally different from the usual mattress store vibe.
Right. He helped people feel comfortable with a big purchase. That was his value add.
Exactly.
And then he threw in bicycle delivery in Portland. I mean, how quirky is that?
It was weird, memorable, got people talking. He took this kind of crazy idea and built a successful business just by focusing on that value and finding unique ways to connect.
Which really underscores how vital it is to get your audience right and craft offers that actually resonate with them.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the biggest things here, I think, is really getting the difference between marketing features like what your product is and marketing benefits, what it actually does for the customer.
Yeah, that's crucial.
Definitely. Like Jaden Hair selling recipes, that's the feature. But it's less compelling than Jaden helping families connect over making delicious food together. That's the benefit.
Or Megan Hunt making custom dresses. That's the feature.
Yeah.
But the benefit is helping brides feel amazing and share that joy on their big day.
Exactly. Or Perna's spreadsheet training. The feature might be learn Excel faster, but the real benefit, making you look like a superstar to your boss, it hits that emotional need.
Right. People want to feel competent, respected, appreciated.
And those emotional needs, they're often the deepest drivers. We all want more of the good stuff, money, love, attention, peace, and less of the bad stuff, stress, hassle, debt. Your offer has to tap into that.
But sometimes what people say they want isn't. Well, it isn't the full picture. You have to kind of watch and understand what they really need underneath.
Mm.
Like Kyle Hepp, the wedding photographer.
Hmm.
Her clients say, "Oh, we hate cheesy traditional photos." But Kyle knows deep down that years later, they'll treasure those classic candid moments she makes sure to capture.
Right. She delivers what they'll actually value long term, even if they can't quite articulate it now.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
think about airlines. People always say they want more legroom.
But then they book the cheapest flight.
Yeah.
Their actions show that, for most people, the real value is affordability.
So it changes your mindset, doesn't it? You move away from feeling like you have to persuade or sell someone and more towards just inviting them to buy something they already kind of want.
Exactly. People generally like buying things. They just hate feeling pressured or sold to.
You can definitely ask customers for input, maybe run surveys or something. But the sources seem to caution against letting that be the only thing driving your decisions. Your own vision matters, too.
For sure. Your own motivation is key.
There's this great analogy of the sources, the orange and the donut. Imagine you're running a marathon, right? Mile 18.
Mhm.
You're exhausted, thirsty. Someone hands you a cold orange slice.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. High value.
Incredible value. Right time, right place. You'd probably pay for that, right?
Absolutely. Now imagine 2 miles later, someone offers you a big glazed donut.
Maybe tasty some other time, but definitely not what you want then. Low value in that context.
So that image really clarifies it. A compelling offer. It's like that orange slice. It's not just a good product in isolation.
It's the right thing for the right person at the right time with a promise that hits exactly what they need and are willing to pay for.
Bingo. And you can also find great opportunities just by spotting where things are inefficient, like Priceline flipping hotel pricing on its head.
Or Redfin challenging real estate commissions. Find the friction, the place where things aren't working well, and offer a smoother, better way.
And to really make that offer irresistible, you need a few tools in your kit. Things like a really solid FAQ page, Answer all those questions up front, build confidence.
And a fantastic guarantee. Not buried in tiny print, but simple, bold, maybe even tied to results, like Nev Lapwood offering 120% back if his program didn't rock your world.
Wow. That takes the risk right off the table for the customer, doesn't it? Removes that, what if I don't like it, fear.
Totally. And then there's the magic of over-delivering, making people feel really good after they've clicked buy.
Yeah, like immediate access to whatever they purchased, plus maybe a little something extra they weren't expecting. A quick personal note, an unannounced bonus.
Or like Zappos and their legendary free shipping, both ways. It just reinforces the customer's decision, makes them feel smart for choosing you.
A really great case study that pulls a lot of this together is Brett Kelly and his guide, Evernote Essentials.
Ah, yes, the Evernote guy.
Yeah, he loved Evernote, was a power user, super skilled, and he noticed there wasn't really a comprehensive, easy-to-follow manual out there.
A gap in the market.
Exactly. So he took his knowledge, packaged it into a really useful PDF guide, delivered it instantly online, and priced it based on the value it provided, like $25 to solve a real frustration for heavy Evernote users.
Not based on how many hours he spent writing it.
Right. Based on the problem it solved. And that little side project, born from his own passion and spotting that need, ended up making him, around $300 a day?
That's insane.
Yeah.
Over $120,000 a year from a PDF guide.
Yeah.
Just by leveraging what he knew and creating something specific people wanted.
Which brings us perfectly to maybe the most crucial piece of advice in all these sources. Just get started. Action is everything.
Absolutely. Action beats endless planning every time. The story of Jen and Omar, the map people, it's perfect.
Yeah, they literally started making and selling custom maps from their apartment floor. Almost zero planning.
Orders came in, they just figured it out. Their entire plan was basically make more maps.
And 9 months later, they quit their day jobs. Incredible.
That first sale, though, that seems like such a huge mental hurdle, but also such validation.
Oh, it's massive. It proves someone out there actually needs what you're offering and will pay for it. Nick, the guy who was hesitant to launch his print site.
Right, he said the tech stuff was just an excuse.
Yeah, deep down it was fear. But once he launched and made that first $50 sale to a total stranger, he got it. He said the first one, .26x, is the hardest.
Because once you've done it once, you know it's possible.
Yeah.
But, okay, things don't just magically sell themselves usually.
Nope.
You got to tell people about it. This isn't being pushy. The sources call it hustling. And it doesn't mean being sleazy. It means consistently creating and consistently connecting.
Yeah, it's really about building genuine relationships over the long haul. Look at 9 Clouds, that small agency in South Dakota.
What do?
They just started helping local businesses with digital stuff, shared loads of free, useful info, supported community things. They focused on providing value first, building trust.
Ah, so that quiet, consistent effort paid off more than just, like, buying a bunch of ads.
Way more, especially early on. It's that strategic giving being genuinely helpful without expecting an immediate return versus, those annoying solicitors at the airport. People can tell the difference.
Right. Authenticity matters.
And speaking of getting attention, one really effective strategy highlighted is using launches.
Okay, what's a launch in this context?
It's basically a focused event, a structured way to introduce or promote your offer. It blends the why your story, the offer itself, the long-term vision with the how, the specific timing, the price, the pitch.
So you build up some anticipation, maybe create a bit of urgency.
Exactly. But ideally, the urgency is real,
Yeah.
based on a limited time bonus or a course starting on a specific date, not just fake scarcity tactics.
And the stories make it compelling. Like Chris Guillebeau launching his empire building kit from the Empire Builder train on his birthday.
That's memorable. Or Andreas launching his app from the departure lounge at Heathrow just before hopping on an 11-hour flight. Those personal touches connect.
And the sources offer practical tips, too, like doing a soft launch to a small group first to iron out kinks.
Yeah, thanking those first buyers personally, sending quick notes. It's about making a real moment out of putting your offer out there.
Okay, but none of this matters long-term if the business doesn't, well, if it doesn't make money.
Right. As Naomi Dunford says very clearly in the book, the primary goal of a business is to make money. Don't confuse your hobby with your business.
Yeah, fair point. And this whole idea that you need a ton of cash or debt to get started, it really gets challenged by these stories, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Starting lean isn't just an option. It often seems to be the preferred path. So many examples started with basically peanuts. Under $100 sometimes.
Like Michael Trainer, the mattress guy. His initial cash came from selling a camera he'd bought for $2,500.
Yeah.
Terra Gentile started for $80, built it to $75K a year. Chris Dunphy and Shriva Ard, Technomania, just $125 to start.
And there are creative ways too. Crowdfunding like Kickstarter, obviously. Or that kind of rebellious story of someone borrowing money for a car, but actually using it to fund the business.
Or even getting community investment, like that local climbing gym example.
Yeah. So, okay, you start lean, you get some traction. How do you make it consistently profitable? The sources lay out some key pricing principles. First big one, price based on the benefit or value you provide, not just your costs or time.
Like Gary Leff charging $250 to book complex award flights. It's not about the hour it takes him. It's about the thousands in travel value his expertise unlocks for the client.
Exactly. Competing on value is almost always a stronger position than just competing on price.
Okay, principle 2.
Offer a limited range of price options, like maybe 3 tiers. This subtly shifts the customer's thinking from should I buy this or not to which version of this is right for me.
So you can sell basically the same core thing, but add different levels of support or extras at different price points.
Precisely. And the third principle, which we touched on, get paid more than once for the same work.
The recurring revenue dream.
It's gold. Subscriptions, memberships, retainers, they build a stable, predictable income stream. Brian Klock's model is a masterclass in this.
How does he do it?
Builds massive trust by giving away tons of valuable content first, then smoothly transitions people to paid recurring services because they already know, and trust him and see the ongoing value.
The sources also really push experimenting with price, don't they?
Oh, yeah. That example of testing $49, $89, and $99 for the same digital product is eye-opening. When they went from $49 to $89, yeah, conversions dipped slightly.
But overall revenue went up significantly.
Exactly. It showed they were leaving money on the table by pricing too low based on the value. You have to test.
Okay, so you've got some momentum, you're profitable. What about growth? Sometimes that feels easier than starting, right?
Often, yeah. Once the ball is rolling. The sources suggest focusing on tweaking 3 main levers for growth: traffic, conversion, and average sales price.
All right, break those down. Traffic is just more eyeballs, getting more attention.
Yep, getting more people to see your stuff. Conversion is turning more of that attention into actual sales, refining your offer, your sales page, etc. Though, interestingly, the sources note that where your traffic comes from often matters more than endless tiny conversion tweets.
Quality over quantity sometimes, and average sales price.
That's getting each customer to spend a bit more per transaction. Classic upsells, would you like fries with that? Or cross-sells, people who bought X also liked Y. Or even selling related things after the first purchase.
And good upsells should feel helpful, right? Not just like a money grab.
Absolutely. They should be genuinely useful additions or enhancements for the customer.
Now, to really scale your impact, maybe without just working more hours yourself, the sources talk about franchising yourself. What does that mean? It's not like buying a McDonald's, right?
No. It's about finding ways to leverage your skills and knowledge through other people or systems.
Okay, like what?
Could be outsourcing tasks you don't love or aren't great at to contractors or virtual assistants. Could be setting up an affiliate program where others sell your product for a commission. Or forming strategic partnerships or joint ventures.
That outsourcing decision seems like a big one. Depends on the business and your personality, maybe.
Totally. Erica's transcription business, for example, grew massively because she built a team of contractors. That gave her huge flexibility. But then you have someone like Gary Leff, the travel expert, who prefers doing it all himself to maintain total quality control.
No single right way.
Exactly. And partnerships, like Carol and Adam doing that joint fire sale launch, or Patrick and Rich creating Endurance Nation together, they let you combine strengths, reach new audiences, leverage.
The sources recommend keeping partnership agreements simple, though, right? Like a one-page thing.
Yes. Learn from the Copley Trash Services disaster story where it all fell apart because there was no clear agreement. Keep it simple, but get it in writing.
You can also kind of franchise yourself by applying your skills to a totally different market, like Natalie Lussier.
Yeah, she went from the raw foods witch to a tech consultant, using her programming skills in a completely new field, but leveraging that core expertise.
But whether you scale big or stay small, one thing that comes up again and again is the need to work on your business, not just in it.
Oh, that's crucial. Avoid getting trapped in just reacting to emails and putting out fires all day. You have to consciously carve out time for strategic thinking, improvement, planning the next steps.
And eventually, it seems many successful micro-business owners hit this choice point, a fork in the road.
Yeah. Where does this thing go now? Do you intentionally keep it small, optimize it as a freedom business that supports your lifestyle?
Or do you decide to go big? Hire employees, really scale up operations.
Or maybe find some middle ground, like Jessica Reagan-Salzman, the bookkeeper who scaled up with employees, then decided, nope, being a highly profitable sole proprietor actually offered her the quality of life she wanted.
So the key is realizing you have that choice.
Absolutely. The beauty is there's no single right path. It all depends on what role you want this business to play in your life. Freedom looks different for different people.
And naturally, there are practical things to figure out along the way, like health insurance.
Yeah, partner's job, COBRA, marketplace plans, and keeping an eye on key numbers, your metrics, knowing the health of your business.
Now, these stories are super inspiring, but let's be real. It's not always smooth sailing, is it?
Definitely not. It's important to acknowledge that there will be bumps, challenges, maybe even disasters.
Like John T. Unger having his studio literally collapse.
Yeah.
Or losing a job unexpectedly.
Right. Awful at the time, no doubt. But often those huge setbacks force pivots that lead to completely unexpected, sometimes even better opportunities. They definitely provide perspective.
And a really powerful message from the sources is you don't need permission to start.
Yes. Charlie Pabst, leaving his supposed dream job at Starbucks because he wanted more autonomy, he had to learn to trust his own gut and tune out the doubters who just didn't get it.
Seek advice, sure, but from people who understand the path you're on. Ultimately, it's your call.
Because fear is always part of the equation, isn't it? External fears, money worries, competition, the market changing.
And the internal ones, too. Self-doubt, fear of failing, or even sometimes fear of succeeding and what that might mean.
Which is why I think holding on to those early breakthrough moments is so vital for morale.
Yeah, remembering them when things get tough. Like Nick's first $50 print sale to a stranger.
Or Daniel Nisemayan landing that unexpectedly big contract, David Fugate getting that major client for his publishing service, Kyle Hepp booking that first $5 destination wedding.
Those moments are the proof in the pudding, aren't they?
They're proof. Proof it can work. Proof your idea has value. Proof you can do this. You've got to keep those moments handy for the inevitable rough patches.
Okay, so let's try and sort of recap the big takeaways from this deep dive into the source material.
All right. Number one, freedom often flows directly from creating value for other people. And yes, you absolutely can start lean, often without taking on scary debt.
Success seems to live at that intersection, that convergence of your skills and passions with what people actually need and will pay for, and focus on the benefits, not just the features.
Taking action, even small steps, is way more important than endless planning. Craft offers that really speak to people's needs and use launches and consistent hustling, that blend of creating and connecting, to get noticed.
That first sale is a huge milestone, psychologically and practically. Then boost profitability by pricing based on value, finding ways to get paid more than once, and definitely testing your prices.
You can amplify your reach and impact by franchising yourself, leveraging outsourcing, affiliates, partnerships, smart ways to scale without necessarily cloning yourself.
And critically, make time to work on the business strategy, not just get buried in the day-to-day tasks. Remember, you have choices about how big or small your business becomes and what kind of freedom you're optimizing for.
These core ideas, they pop up everywhere in the examples, from the mattress guy with the bike delivery.
To the Evernote expert with the PDF guide, the map makers, the local agency, it seems really universal, even down to, like, Ret the tuk-tuk driver in Cambodia.
Yeah, that's such a simple but powerful example. His strategy: focus on building relationships with regular customers, providing reliable service, rather than just chasing random tourist fares like everyone else.
And he ended up earning significantly more.
Exactly. It just shows these principles: value, action, understanding your audience, they apply everywhere.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe here's a final thought for you, the listener, to take away.
Yeah, think about your own unique mix. Your skills, your passions, the things you know or love to do. Where does that intersect with a real problem, a genuine need that other people have, something they'd actually be willing to pay to solve or improve?
And then, what's one small thing, just one tiny action you could take, maybe even today, to start testing that intersection, to take one little step towards building your own version of freedom,